Good morning, everyone. This is Kenji here again. Sorry, my voice is a little weird, probably because I got the infusion yesterday, so today is the second day after my infusion. And yeah, I'm hiccuping a little too. This is another side effect when you get an infusion, the non-stop hiccuping. And yeah, I wanted to show you guys actually what happened after the infusion. They give me this little thing, little bag, for me to carry with me to home, right? So this is another part of the infusion regimen. And yeah, there's like medication inside this little pump where it's like continuously pumping the medication into my bloodstream, right? Like right here through the PIC line. So yeah, that's what I have to carry for the next 2 days, and then I have to go back to the hospital to give it back to them, right? So a lot of hospital visits. I think I could have done maybe a port line instead of a PIC line. I think that might have been much easier logistics wise, because when I'm wearing a PIC line, I'm not supposed to take a shower either. And but it was only for 2 days. It's not a big deal, but still, usually I like taking a shower every day. I don't know, it gives me that clean feeling when I take a shower every day, and also it helps with my mood too. Yeah, anyways, I also wanted to share with you guys a little story. So I ran into a couple weeks ago. I had to go to ER because when I checked my PIC line right here, I don't know if you guys can see, yeah, like right here around this area, right, it was all red, and I got a little scared because it was the second day after I got my PIC line, and the nurses were explaining how I'm not like that area is not supposed to be red, and also if I have any fever, sweat, and also if that red area, if I press on it and if it hurts, I'm supposed to go to ER right away. I poked on it. It didn't hurt at all. No pain. I had no fever, but it was so red, like all over, right? So I still got concerned, so I mean, I'd rather go than miss out and then be sorry, right? So yeah, I ended up going to the ER that day right after, and as I was waiting, they checked me in. As I was waiting in the waiting room, there was this old lady that just that was a patient just like me. Like, she was sitting right next to me, and she asked me what brings me there, and I told her that I actually have a cancer, and they recently installed PIC line, and I wasn't sure because there's like red spot. I'm so sorry, red spots all over my arm. So I got concerned. That's why I came. And she was like, "Oh, it's good that you came to check out, right? You always want to be extra cautious when you're going through cancer treatment. That little things can really, you want to make sure you don't have an infection while you're going through chemo, right?" And then she was sharing her own experience with cancer as well. So the reason why she came to the ER wasn't anything cancer related, because she was already cancer free, but she was telling me how she was diagnosed with uterus cancer about 6 years ago, and they cut it out. I think it was stage 1 or 2, so they just cut it out, and she didn't have to do any like chemo or radiation. But then a few years later, it came back again, and I believe in her lymph nodes or something like that. I forget exactly where. And that's when she had to do her dose of chemo and radiation. And she was telling me how horrible it was, but how she made it through. And she was asking me like, how is my chemo treatment going? And that was barely when I think I was done with the first one. So, and I don't know if you guys remember, but the first one was so brutal, right? So that's when I told my parents that I don't think I can keep on going with chemo. I'm just gonna stop, right? I'm just gonna stop altogether, and how much time ever I have left, I'll just roll with it. I'll just let the nature, whatever the God's will may be, I'll just unfold, because it was just too hard out of my body. I was getting so nauseous. I just couldn't do it. Like, what kind of life is this if I'm just gonna be suffering like this continuously? Obviously, chemo, there's an end to chemo treatment, but still, it felt almost unbearable. So I told this lady that I actually, when she asked me like, how's my chemo treatment going, I told this lady, oh, I don't think I can keep on going with chemo anymore. And she was like, why? And I was like, oh, it's too hard on my body. I get so nauseous. I can barely eat. I'm so miserable. I just don't think I can't keep going, right? And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, chemo is like brutal. And she was trying to comfort me. But like, you're not doing this, forever. You just have to do, how many rounds do you have? I was like, oh, I have 5 more rounds, according to my doctor. And she was like, oh, that's like 2 or 3 months, right? I think you can do this. You're so young, and you can make it through. Just think of it this way. Few months of suffering, you get more years of your life, right? And look at me, like I'm such an old person, and I still did it, right? And yeah, I'm pretty sure you can do it, right? And then she was basically, the whole time I was there, she was really trying hard to encourage me, right? To tell me not to give up. And she told me actually she works or volunteers at the infusion center. And she was like, so Kenji, what day do you come? When is your next infusion scheduled? And I was like, oh, it's scheduled for next Tuesday. And she was like, oh, okay, I come on every Wednesday, but I know someone, another volunteer, her name is Julie. She comes on Tuesday, so I'll tell her about you and make sure that she comes to see you and take good care of you, right? That was so sweet of her, right? And it really actually kind of put me in a good spirit. And then as we were about to say goodbye, after I was seen, oh, by the way, I was seen by the doctor. And they looked at the red spots, and they measured my temperature again and stuff, and poked on it and everything. But yeah, they were saying how it was like a bruise, right? It was a bruise from the PICLA installation. It's not an infection, so thank God, right? So that was that. And as I was leaving, we were saying goodbye, and then she was, for the last word, she was like, okay, so I'll see you next week, next time, okay? All right? So kind of like a little teeny tiny pressure, right? To make sure I don't give up. But even after that, I don't know, her words of encouragement, I was still feeling conflicted, right? It didn't, suddenly she made me make my mind change. I was just, there was still a little bit of my mind left that wants to quit. But at least I think her encouragement, her sharing her own experience with chemo, I think it swayed my mind a little bit, at least, right? So I went back home. I thought about like what she told me, and then yeah, I think I also prayed that somehow, you know, the following week I start to feel better, right? Suddenly, so like the infusion week, you know, that's the week you feel like horrible, horrible. You just want your life to end right there and then. Like you don't think about your own family, how they're gonna be without you. Like at least for me, like I think that was the only thing I thought about. I was like, God, just please, just take me away, right? I can't live like this. This is just too hard, too hard for me to bear. That's what I told God, right? That's what I was praying to take me. And then eventually the following week, I start to feel better. I was like, maybe I can go on for another week, right? So yeah, I went on for another week, and yesterday was my third infusion. And guess what? Yesterday was Wednesday, and yeah, I run into her. I run into this lady. Her name is Gigi. Yeah, I run into Gigi, and she was like, "Oh, Kenji, good to see you again. I knew you made it." Right? I'm so glad you made it. And you know, she was like, she would go around, you know, to like different beds and just have talk with each patient here and there. And yeah, she sat down with me at my bed, and yeah, we're just talking. And yeah, it was a good talk. You know, again, she was sharing about her experiences, and she was just trying to empathize a lot with what I'm going through, how hard it must be for me, right? So I mean, man, like there's so many good people out there, like just like you guys, right? You guys are so supportive, you know. And yeah, I think it really helps for me to just keep going with this. So, and also, you know, surprising thing is that, you know, this nurse that helped me out yesterday, she was so helpful. She was the one actually that recommended I try Colace to help with constipation. And yesterday she also helped with adding another type of medication for sorry, for sweats. Like this new chemo regimen, another new symptom I guess I would notice was sweats and crampiness and like bloated and burping, and it's just horrible feeling and nausea on the first day, which wasn't the case with my first regimen. Like during the first regimen, I don't feel that, like none of those side effects, you know, those side effects start to kick in on the second or third day. But for some reason, with this new regimen, yeah, I started to horrible right there and then, like on the first day. But when I mentioned this, she was like, "Hey, how come you never mentioned this to us? You're supposed to like let us know so we can do something about it, right?" And then she like got me this like new medication that is supposed to help with that. And man, I felt much better. I did not feel the sweats. I did not have the bloatedness, burping. I felt so much, like 80% better. So that helped a lot, right? Yeah, so that was good. Oh my gosh, this hiccup, you know, once it starts, it doesn't go away. Sometimes it can last for like for a whole hour. Ugh. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next video. All right, take care.